If you're a person alive today, then you have a stake in how society raises young men. And there are three pieces of content that have recently started to coalesce in my head for a framework on doing that successfully. The first is this great tweet from Kelsey Baker over on Substack, which says that we need young boys to have role models who are women, because teaching women to be leaders isn't helpful if we don't also teach boys how to be led by women. The next is from Richard Reeves over in his Excellent of Boys and Men Substack, where he looked at some of the differing rates of employment by gender, and specifically pointed out the issue of declining male participation in professions like elementary school teaching and hospital healthcare work and mental health care. Finally, Scott Galloway makes the point in his recent book, somewhat crassly, that thanks to the Catholic Church and Michael Jackson, it's now seen as strange for grown men to take interest in the development of young men and boys. And that observation comes adjacent to sections where he talks about how important the Boy Scouts or the parents of his friends, the dads of his friends, were in teaching him better ways to live. And those are also areas where I think there are real perception issues today. All this brings me to my initial conclusion, which is that it's really paramount importance that young men grow up with people, men and women, who act as role models and take an interest in them at every stage of their life. It actually reminds me of that whole "it takes a village" thing, because I can't even begin to tell you how many gaps in my own household were partially addressed by the extra care and consideration that a coach or a teacher or a work mentor took in me. And look, it's just one experience, but in the first 10 years of my career, I've probably reported to more women on average than I have to men. And it just strikes me as crucially important that you have mentors and role models who demonstrate to you that they respect you, they care about you, they support you, they want what's best for you, they show you better ways to be outside of the normal requirements of their job. And those mentors and role models need to be men and women. Young people need a constellation of supports. No single pillar will do, and it needs to be safe and frequent to receive that support from the constellation. Now, it's probably going to take a group effort to make it aggressively normal for a man to be led by a woman in the workplace, or for men generally to take more of an active interest in the development of the young men around them without it being seen as some creepy thing. And of course, in a lot of ways, we've made real progress on some of those fronts, but there's also damage over the recent years that's been incurred and probably needs to be undone. That work is urgent, and I think it really will take a village. And if you have thoughts on adjacent pieces of content or ways that we can solve that problem, I'd love to hear about it in the comments.